I'd like to take a moment to talk about the killing of Alex Pretti in Minnesota. I've seen the video now from 5 or 6 different points of views and angles, and it's pretty clear what's happened. All you have to do is really watch. And this stuff has been broken down frame by frame, so it's easy to follow. You need to start with the fact that Alex Pretti was legally carrying his weapon. Um, Nothing illegal about what he was doing. You know, I live in a state where everybody carries, and it's totally legal. And by law, he was totally legal to be carrying his weapon. What you also need to know is that he was a nurse that worked reportedly at an ICU at a veterans facility. So he was caring for our veterans. That was his job. Now, because he worked at the VA, he was required to have a very thorough background check completed by the government itself, including the Department of Defense. It takes a long time and it's thorough. You do not secure a job at a VA hospital without this background check. So, why was he unnecessarily gunned down brutally, viciously, and clearly without remorse, which I'll get to later? He was recording ice, which you are allowed to do. What got him into trouble is he helped a woman that had just been forcefully shoved to the ground by an ICE agent. I mean, you can clearly see, this guy just hammers this woman, and she goes to the ground. So, Mr. Pretti tries to help her up, which makes sense if you know about him and his background and what he does for a living. While he's helping her up with his back to the agents, the assault begins. 6 or more of him assail him from behind. They take him to the ground, and then they immediately pepper spray him or use some similar chemical in his eyes at point blank range. Now, there's some things you need to know about pepper spray and people who have been properly trained, legitimate law enforcement that's been trained to use it. Professional training for deploying pepper spray or chemicals like this specifically instruct you not to spray directly into people's eyes, anyone's eyes, because that direct spray can cause blindness and other serious medical issues that can be permanent. Now, numerous videos show ICE purposely spraying heavy doses of these chemicals directly into people's eyes on more than one occasion. If a legitimate law enforcement officer did this, they'd be written up, quite possibly criminally charged, and quite possibly fired. As another knowledgeable source pointed out to me, pepper spray causes immediate severe pain, involuntary eye closure even when it's not sprayed directly into the eyes, tearing, coughing, and a lot of disorientation. Law enforcement training, proper training, explicitly teaches that these reactions are expected. Subjects are going to reach for their eyes, turn away, flinch, and flail their bodies, trying to clear the spray because they are in pain. These actions are reflexive and physiological responses. They are not aggression. Trying to clear your eyes while being forced to the ground after being sprayed with this is not violent resistance. The basic human physiology and standard training doctrine says these are expected pain responses. These jerky, erratic movements after being sprayed is not attacking officers. Calling expected pain responses violence is just a distortion of reality. Now, while all this is going on, they're beating him savagely. He is clearly disarmed of the pistol that he was legally carrying and never once seen brandishing in that from any angle or video you see. Never, ever using that gun to threaten officers. One of the federal officers, I believe in a grayish jacket, is actually seen retrieving the handgun from his waistband or backpack area during the struggle. Now, close-up analysis of that agent walking away with that gun at his side shows that the gun slide moves, which is quite probably indicative that it probably fired a shot into the pavement. This was before other officers fatally shot Pretti. You can actually see recoil and movement from the gentleman's wrist, which is indicative of the gun going off. So he's been disarmed. He's been pepper sprayed. He's clearly outnumbered by 6 agents and just reacting to the spray. And what do? They shoot him. And as he lay motionless on the ground, they shoot him again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Why? What ICE is doing right now is not managing people. What is very clear for all to see is that they are obviously attempting to injure people. They are there to injure and intimidate. They are not there to de-escalate. In no video do you see them de-escalating anything. Matter of fact, quite the opposite. You see them initiating violence, which is against any legitimate, legal law enforcement training. I mean, these guys, and just so you know the mentality of these people, one of them was actually caught on a hot mic saying that this was cool because it was like playing Call of Duty. And another thing you can see in the Pretti video is after he's shot multiple times, one of the agents is clapping his hands. So pardon my language, this isn't a game. This isn't a fucking game. And this isn't fucking politics as usual. This is authoritarianism. So all of you law and order folks out there, you need to know this also. Federal investigators are not cooperating at all with Minnesota state investigators or law enforcement regarding this killing. The feds have denied the Minnesota Bureau of Investigations and law enforcement. They have no access to the crime scene. They have no access to evidence. They haven't even been able to question the shooters. Even after the state people at the state level obtained a judicial search warrant, which is a lot stronger than this administrative search warrant crap going on. So you talk about law and order, you don't get it both ways. And then while all this is going on, Pam Bondi is demanding that Minnesota turn over complete, full, and unredacted access to their voter rolls. Meaning she is demanding unredacted personal information on every citizen in Minnesota. So don't think this is authoritarian bullshit. This was never about public safety. So Bondi now is also talking about all the rapists and traffickers of drugs and other things in Minnesota. Minnesota, which, by the way, has a lower percentage of immigrant population, legal and otherwise, than many other states. So she's talking about enforcing law while totally disregarding the law that called for the Epstein files release on December 19th of 2025. That was the deadline when the Epstein files were supposed to be completely released, and they have not been. And it's been more than a month now, and they're dragging their feet. The Epstein Files Transparency Act was unanimously passed by Congress, signed into law by the very president who is now directing DOJ to not release these files and to drag their feet. This is a violation of law, and I don't care who you are. We all know that there's pedophilia and child trafficking in those files. There is incriminating, damning evidence in those files, probably of some very powerful people. We know it's there. Do you think I care if it's Bill Clinton or Donald Trump or Mickey Mouse? Anybody who's in those files and is criminally implicated and can be proven to be a pedophile involved in this global child trafficking ring, they belong in jail forever. I don't care who's in it. And if you're worried that Trump is in it, or you don't think this is a big deal that they're released, do you support pedophilia? Because you're certainly not screaming for this law to be enforced. So I have to assume that you're okay with it. So, I know a lot of you probably only watch Fox, and Fox isn't even talking about Epstein files now. You're probably not going to see all the video that I have, because Fox will never say or do anything that at the end of the day is harmful to Trump. They'll trot out to one or two people who will be like tokens to frame the other side of it. And they'll claim that's fair and balanced, even though they're outnumbered by far for the right-wingers on that station and the station's own philosophy. Now, my question is why anyone in this day and age would limit themselves to only one source of information. It's just beyond comprehension to me. It's the epitome of ignorance, and it's willful ignorance. So I challenge you right-wingers and Fox viewers, all of you, to watch the videos, all of them, objectively, without your politics, without your loyalties to party, or without your loyalties to an individual, without your biases and prejudices, and watch what happened. It's even been timed and broken down frame by frame in many instances. If you believe in law and order, due process, and the Constitution of the United States, what are you afraid of? The truth is literally there for all to see. And the only reason you won't see it is because you choose not to. I don't know if it's out of pride, ego, or something much worse. But there's a line out of George Orwell's 1984. And it says this: "The party told you to reject the evidence of your ears and eyes. It was their final, most essential command." I'm going to repeat that because I actually switched two words in the wrong order. The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. And what you are being told to do by this administration is ignore the reality you actually see. I don't know what's going on. This is supposed to be America. And what's happening now with federal government enthusiasm and encouragement is not America. It's not. So I don't know what's going on. I just don't. I don't get it. People, just open your eyes and look and see what's happening. May you have the day you deserve.